This is Saturday Morning Mysteries.
And we're your hosts, Alexis and Grace. Hello, good morning, and welcome back to another episode of Saturday Morning Mysteries, where we're your hosts. I'm Alexis.
I'm Grace.
And Grace is coming back to us with episode Trace. Of hers, exactly. Her third episode of Kim Possible. Mm-hmm. We're moving on along with this arc. We've been called, we've been beeped, we've been reached multiple weeks in a row now. And like Kim Possible, we're doing it all with this show.
Oh, yes, we are.
Taking us through some journeys, interesting memories of our teenage years and the stresses of teenagehood. But looking for, oh God, does that lead us into today's episode, perhaps?
It does.
Okay, well then I will hand it right on over.
It's a pointed episode that I picked today.
Excellent. Cannot wait to hear it.
Yes. So I'm doing season 3, episode 7 today, and it's a little funky because I didn't realize this as I was going into the episode, because on like Wikipedia, where I looked up like the episode titles and stuff, it only listed like one title for this episode, but in fact, this episode is a little 2-for-1. So it's like 2 mini episodes in one, a la like Courage type of thing. Oh. So it's like 2 10-minute episodes type of thing. It's like little vignettes almost.
Did they do that? Is that like just this one episode you said?
I think it's just this one. This is the only one that I've come across.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I might look at season 3 now. Like, wait a minute, what's going on here?
Yeah, what's happening? Yeah, maybe it is more of season 3. I have no idea. It was just this one, and I was like, what is happening? Because I was very confused because I just didn't realize this at all. And I thought the first one was tying into like what turned out to be the second one. And I'll point out like what I thought was happening. Yeah. And the stuff from the first one just never came back. So I was like, totally different episode.
Okay.
We're on a totally different track now, I guess. But yeah, they're totally unrelated. But because they're both like short little ones, they actually focus more on Ron than Kim. I decided I was going to tell you about them both because they're both just like short and fun. So
nice.
To me, it was worth covering both. So you're also getting a 2-for-1 today.
Cool.
So
I feel blessed.
You should feel blessed. You're welcome. You're welcome, everyone.
Thank you for blessing us, Grace. Thank you. Everybody thank Grace.
Is Easter coming up while we're doing this arc? I don't know when Easter is.
Actually, yes.
I think it might be.
April 20th this year. Mm-hmm.
I think we're getting close. I don't know when this episode comes out, but actually, whatever.
Probably, yeah. Maybe last week or this week, actually. Just doing the math off the top of our head. If so, happy Easter to those who celebrate or observe. Yes.
So, yes, we start off today with our first little mini-sode, where as usual, or not as usual, but we're at the school as usual, and we're at cheer practice, where the girlies are killing it, of course. Kim Possible's on the cheer squad. She's a cheer captain.
You have to clarify with Kim, literally killing it or figuratively?
She's murdering her fellow cheerleaders, at least Bonnie.
It's going great. Yeah.
No. It is just they are doing a great job cheering. And while they're, rah-rahing it up in the gym, we cut to the halls of the high school where there is a shadowy figure looming down each hall. And as it turns every corner, the kids at the high school start to drop their books. They start to run. They hide in fear, like jumping into their lockers or other classrooms, or they just freeze and scream for help. And we don't see what's causing this shadow quite yet, but we are doing a classic like horror movie cut back and forth, like progressively getting closer on like the cheerleaders moving really quickly, rah-rahing, and then back to the hallway where you just see a shadow and like the distinct clacking of perhaps high heels following the shadow. Back to cheer practice. They're having a great time. Zoom in on the shadow and like a young like teenager screaming for help and running out of the way. Until the doors of the gym burst open, and all the cheerleaders except for Kim fall out of their poses and scream as they also run, like leaving their pom-poms behind, off to the locker rooms or for somewhere else for safety.
Oh,
and
no.
Kim looks up at the shadowy figure, who she didn't notice at first, which is why she didn't run. And when she sees it, Kim Possible starts shaking her head and backing up until she's against a wall, like nowhere else to run, muttering, "No, no, it can't be. This can't be right. No, not me, not me." And we hear a deep voice finally come from the shadow. And as the shadow steps into the light, it reveals a hulking woman with tightly pulled back hair, yellow glasses, a long frowning face, and a green plaid skirt with a maroon vest. And her eyes are
Ooh,
boring a hole deep into Kim's very soul. And she
wow.
points right at Kim and says, "Kim Ann Possible, I have a
Uh-oh.
zero
Government name.
tardiness policy, and you have an overdue library book."
Oh no.
Plug for our
Oh
YouTube, Alexis's
no.
1,000 yard stare. The thing I love bringing up to her, her past crimes
Oh, my past crimes.
as a
I've
teenager.
been fully exonerated. Okay. I
My
served
record's
my
been
time. I paid my
expunged
debts. Yeah.
to
Um,
society.
I was really preparing for it to be the principal. Oh God, no, Grace, what have you
Worse.
done? Even worse. My worst. Oh, I never had a problem with the principal ever. Principals loved me.
The public library,
Librarians.
though.
Oh my God. Oh no. Well, I'm already relating heavy to what Kim's going through right now. Oh
Yes,
man.
this
They
is
will
why I
track you
chose
down.
this episode. The first part of the episode is titled Overdue, and I said,
Hmm.
let's bring it back up. Let's
Hmm.
bring, I couldn't resist the personal attack against you. I don't even know what books you had overdue from that research paper we had in high school,
I don't either.
but
I
boy,
guess
howdy,
the
do I
book was
remember.
it was Cannery Row was the book, so it was
Oh,
probably a bunch of Steinbeck and shit.
yep. Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Uh, I mean, come on, how would you not want to keep Steinbeck overdue? He's that good. If anything, this was a compliment to the public
This is what you
library
said at
system and to
your
literature.
library trial.
My trial, my
My
hearing.
love for the
It's
literature.
Steinbeck. How could I not? I just couldn't put the book down
This influenced me
forever
so much I
and ever
had to
and
keep
ever.
them.
Yes. It's become a comfort book to me. The isolation that the main character felt in Cannery Row is the isolation that I felt without this book in my presence. I needed it.
Right, you
That's
just
how you
fully
sweet
relate
talk
to the
them.
characters.
That's how
Yeah.
you sweet talk them. Pull out those themes and
Thank,
imagery. This
thank
book
God
was
your
about
jury was
isolation. Would you want
only
me to feel
English
isolated?
teachers. That's why they let you go.
I have a way with words. That's why English teachers love me.
Thank God Miss Lavely was on that jury. She let
Hmm.
you go free, baby.
Hmm. The librarian said, "Oh, Letitia Lavely is your reference? Well, fine. We'll
Say
give you an
less.
extension this time."
This time.
Oh man, shout out to the best
So,
English teacher ever. If you're me and me only, no one else liked her but me.
exactly. And that's why she pulled some strings. She's pulled some library
Exactly.
strings. She was well connected. She'd been around long
Yes.
enough. She knew them all.
I pulled the Letty Lavely card, pulled
It's a
out that
strong card,
favor.
and you used it wisely.
Exactly.
So yes, that's why I chose this episode was only for this
Hmm.
reason and this reason alone. It's just the
Appreciate
fact
it.
I love about you. And so Kim is like, yes, she's like, oh shit, I got an overdue book. But Kim is like, okay, I'll play it cool. Like, this is no problem. I never lose things. Like, it's got to be in my locker. And before she runs off to go check her locker, the library, who we learn is named Miss Hatchet, tells Kim
Oh,
that under her
good.
authority, I know, Miss Hatchet,
Scary.
under her authority, which seems to be supreme in this school, she tells Kim that until Kim returns her library book, she's banned from the cheer squad and must report to her after school for library lockup.
Overstepping her power, I have to say. This is, like you
That's why I
said,
think her
I know
power
she's
is
supreme.
supreme.
Like, excuse me, ma'am, your library jurisdiction does not extend to cheerleading, but nope, in
Here
this
it
case, it
does.
absolutely does. Yikes.
Here,
She,
she has slowly but surely, like a plague, like a menace, eked out her jurisdiction across this school before the gym teacher even knew that she had come and
Uh-huh.
usurped his territory.
All that the librarian has to do is whisper in the ear of the principal and then let it be. The
Fall
gym
like
teacher's like,
cards.
"Excuse me, I applied for this job. I had to sit through the interviews, and you're just going to let this librarian come over and
And Miss
defund
Hatchet
my
says,
program? I mean, take
who do you
this
think got you the
cheerleader."
job? Who do you think chose your application and got you this sought after position as gym teacher and squad captain,
Exactly.
squad coach? Me.
Exactly. Me.
Who do you think
Mm-mm-mm.
changed that Indeed.com algorithm so you would get this job
Mhm.
application to begin with? Me.
Me.
She rules
Uh-huh.
everything here, Miss Hatchet.
Hmm.
So, yes, Kim runs off and goes to her locker to start tearing it apart. But there's no book in there. So Kim is now actually starting to panic because she's like, okay, where would I have this book? I never lose my shit. Like it would have been in my locker. This is where I put books.
Hmm.
And Ron, as usual, her bestie, strolls up to say hello to Kim. But Kim, I mean, he doesn't know what's going on with her right now. Kim snaps at him and tells him to like GTFO. She literally cannot miss the upcoming cheer semifinals, nor can she go to the feared library lockup. So she's like, okay, you know what? Maybe it was one of like it's probably in one of my classrooms. Like I probably just left it there. It's on like a bookshelf in the like, in one of my classrooms. So she pushes Ron out of the way to go look in like her chem
Out of the
lab.
way. This is
I gotta find this
serious,
book.
serious shit. Move, Ron.
I mean, she like literally, I'm pretty sure pushes him out of the way. She's not fucking
Yeah.
around.
I mean, he's probably saying something stupid too, but it's funny. Yeah.
Exactly. But I mean, like you, Ron looks at Rufus and is like quite concerned about this behavior that Kim is exerting, is showing right now. Mainly, he's like, I mean, this is extra weird because, yeah, like, I mean, like Kim had been saying, like, Ron's like, Kim doesn't lose things. Like, that is not
Yeah.
who Kim is. It's
Yeah.
Ron, I lose things.
Yeah.
Oh no. And we get a flashback to Ron and
Ah.
Kim at Kim's house. She's getting a call from Wade, so they have to jump into action and get ready for a mission. But as they do, Ron knocks a purple textbook from the coffee table and he bends
Mm.
down to pick it up in this flashback. But Kim, she's already out the door and she's yelling at Ron to get a move on it. They got a mission to go on. So Ron looks at the book that had been on the floor, and we see that it's The Brief History of Cheese. And Ron,
A
of
good
course,
read,
I was
as the
gonna say
reviews say.
when that happened, I was like, Alexis would have this book overdue for sure. I was like, more reason that I chose this episode.
Yeah. You're like, that girl loves cheese.
The girl would absolutely refuse to return this book to the
A
library.
book about cheese. Yeah, you're not wrong.
You know what? I would be lying if I said I didn't have a couple books about like cheese and charcuterie boards
Yeah, I
among
know.
our cookbooks. You know,
I'm looking at one right now. Yep.
I'm only human.
I
We're only so strong.
do. What do you, yeah, we're just girls. What
We're
do you
just
want?
girls. And you know what? We
What do
know
you
Ron's one
want?
of the girlies because he looks at this book and
Exactly.
is like, I bet Kim wouldn't mind me borrowing this. Like, this is too good to pass up. And he slips that
Ron.
book right into his book bag and heads off on the mission with Kim. And he realizes that that's the last time he saw that book. He never got around to the brief
Mm.
history of cheese or any history of cheese.
Oh, that's
Unfortunate.
sad. He's missing out.
See, I don't know, a rich, cheesy world out here. But even worse is that he has no idea what mission they were going on, that he had that book with him,
Mm.
because he was like, I could have just gone back to the place of the mission and tried to find it there, but they go on so
Yeah.
many. This happened a couple
Yeah.
weeks ago. He
A
has
lot of
no
the places blow
idea.
up after they go to
It
them.
could be ashes right now, swept away into the
Yeah.
wind, far into other lands at this point. He doesn't
Hmm.
know. So smartly, Ron calls the smartest person he and everyone in the show knows, Wade.
Hmm.
And he spills everything to Wade, who hilariously, Wade, when he hears the title of the book, says, that sounds like a Gouda read.
Ah,
Classic.
Wade,
Classic
my
Gouda
man.
pun. My man Wade. Always killing it. And so Ron asks for backup as we, the viewers now see as it zooms out on Ron being on the phone with Wade. Ron has decided to go and infiltrate all of the villain layers that they've been to in the last like month. Yeah,
Alone,
exactly.
just Ron. Oh
Just
God.
Ron, Rufus, and Wade on the phone.
Oh God.
So
Rufus has this, let's be real.
yeah,
Rufus
Rufus,
has
and
this under
honestly,
control.
thank God he called Wade. Wade has got his
Yes.
back because he's like, I can't let Ron die. This,
Mm-mm.
he's the hype man of this team. We can't let him go. If he
Exactly.
falls,
Somehow he keeps
we
us
all
all
fall.
together.
Exactly. He's the
Yeah.
glue somehow.
Yes.
So as Wade is on the phone with Ron, he's giving him some schematics and like some backup as Ron is actively scaling some castle walls at this moment.
Nice.
Ron gets a call from Kim, which of course he like fumbles and like almost falls off the wall. Maybe he does fall off the wall. And Kim is in the library, hiding behind some shelves of books before Miss Hatchet gets there. And she's calling to apologize to Ron because she snapped at him
Mm.
earlier. She
Aw.
says, Ron, I'm so sorry. Like, you didn't know what was going on. I'm sorry I was snappy with you earlier. It's not your fault, and you didn't deserve that. Except we
Well,
know.
well,
Ron knows it was definitely
yeah,
his fault, and he definitely deserved that.
yeah, but she doesn't know that he deserved it. So they're both right.
They're both
Kind of.
right and extremely uncomfortable, although Kim doesn't know it's uncomfortable,
Yeah.
but becomes uncomfortable as the librarian, Miss Hatchet, storms in and starts yelling for Kim to get to work resorting all of the books in the library from the
Mm.
Dewey Decimal System to the Hatchet
Oh.
Decimal System.
Oh, okay. Supreme leader. We're just taking over the whole field of
She's
library sciences now.
a
This
dictator.
bitch.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
bitch is a full dictator. And so Ron is, of course, even more determined now after hearing all of that from Kim. And
Hmm.
he is able to successfully break into the castle of Duff Killigan, who is a very
Oh.
large Scottish kilt wearing man. He's got one of those like little golf hat type of things, a very thick
Yeah.
Scottish accent. He's like huge. He's got like this huge, broad chest. And Ron and Rufus are able to sneak in and go into this giant library in a castle, which, like, hashtag goals, when a
Hmm.
green smoke starts filling the room. And Ron starts coughing, Rufus starts coughing. They think Duff Killigan has found them and is trying to poison them somehow. This might be a recurring villain. I think he comes up in other episodes, probably. We just haven't seen him yet. But
Yeah.
it turns out it's just Duff making haggis, of course.
Oh.
Some haggis. And he
Yeah.
forces Ron and Rufus to eat some, I guess as torture, because they
Mm.
eventually do escape. And as they escape, Ron is holding his belly and saying to Rufus, because I guess this is not the first time this has happened to Ron, saying,
Oh.
how many more times are people going to feed me sheep's lung cooked in its own stomach before they understand I don't like it? So again, not the first time Ron has run into
Not the
this
first time.
force
Yeah.
feeding. So
You could also just say no. No, thank
I think
you.
that's why I think this is torture. This is why I
This
think
time
this
was
villain
torture,
tortured
yes.
them. Yes,
The
and
former
forced
times,
fed
I wonder.
them. Yes. And so Ron and Rufus kind of crossed Duff off the list. They couldn't find that book anywhere in the library before they got caught. So they
Hmm.
moved to the next location. But as they're heading there, we see this robot emerge from the bushes nearby. But
Hmm.
it's a friendly robot because at the top, like the head of
Oh.
the robot, is a computer screen with Wade's face on it.
Okay.
So,
Oh.
yes. Yeah,
Wow. That's an
we've got
upgrade.
Wade Bot happening here, as
Wade
I
bot.
decided to
Okay, I
call
like it.
him.
I like it. I
Yes.
love it.
Yep. So it's like kind of like it's like pretty bulky. It's not like human shaped. It's kind of just like boxy, but it's still decked out with, spy gear. It's got like a bunch of weapons in it. And Wade from his
Hmm.
home is in full control of it and can see and talk to Ron
Oh.
fully here. So it's pretty
So
sweet.
it's like a way for Wade to go on the missions with
Yes,
them, but also since he's the
exactly.
most important person on the team, he's
To
the
stay safe.
safest because he's not
Yes.
actually there. Yeah. Huh.
Exactly. So, yeah.
Nice.
So, this mission, we've got the rest of the mission here. We've got Wade Bot, Rufus, and Ron. and they're
A
heading.
good, a decent team.
I
Rufus and
know.
Wadebot have got this for sure.
Exactly. And like it's no different than
Ron
being
is
with
just there.
Kim. Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, just there. So yes, Wade bought Rufus and Ron. Yes, I did name them in the order of importance and competency here. If you were just saying. Now head to the next place where they had recently had a mission, Draken and Shigo's lair. So
Mhm.
inside their lair, which is some big tower this time, Draken is putting the finishing touches on some elaborate machine that's meant to control the Earth's orbit. But as he's making his final edits on the machine, he turns around to see that their office, like in this layer, is an absolute mess right now. There are papers everywhere, there are drawers open, files all over the
Mm-mm-mm.
place. And Draken, of course, is short tempered, snaps at Shigo that she's made a mess. This baddie, though, she is literally
Uh,
lounging on a beach chair with like a tanning light above her. And she
Here
just
you
like
go,
flips
girl.
over to the other side and she's just like, I'm trying to crisp right now, or something like that. And just
Get it? Mm.
cannot be fucking bothered with
No.
anything that's happening
She's
until
like,
like,
your mess,
she's like, my
please, not
contract
mine.
says when there is danger, I'm on
Exactly.
duty. I'm on break right now. Okay.
Exactly.
You see how pale I
Exactly.
am.
It's like, if you want
I'm
to
trying to fix
pay me
this.
to clean up, how about it? Sure.
Put
But
it in my
otherwise,
contract. He
exactly.
knows it down to a little letter here. But yes, she does say she's like, I'm trying to crisp here. And also, like, I would never even touch your shit in your office. Like, I don't care about that.
Yeah.
Which, at them saying that, does actually make both of them stop and look at each other and be like, Shiga wouldn't touch it.
Who was it? Yeah.
Exactly. Draken's been fucking with this device. And they notice jumping from one filing cabinet to another is as Draken screams, "It's the weasel thing!" AKA
Oh,
Rufus.
put some respect on his
Put some
name.
respect on his
Rufus the Naked
name.
Mole Rat,
Like,
not a
squeeze
weasel.
me.
Yeah.
So at this, Shigo and him do jump into action. I have to say, totally irrelevant to the rest of the plot, but since this is season 3, we know like the Ron Kim tension, romantic tension is growing
Oh,
because we know
yeah.
eventually they
Yeah,
end up
true.
together. So
Good point.
which we don't really follow that in this arc because we don't do consistent like episodes or like
Yeah.
chronological episodes. But when Shiko sees Ron, she goes, "Where's possible?" And Ron, way too defensively, goes, "She's not my girlfriend, okay?" And Shiko
Wow.
goes,
Okay.
"I never said that," and just like stares at
Okay.
Ron, and Ron turns like bright red and is like, awkward.
Wow, Ron. Keep it chill.
Keep
Keep
it
it chill,
chill,
buddy.
man.
Yeah.
But then she throws one of those like energy force things right into his face, and the fight continues.
Yeah.
And Rufus and Wadebot are able to go fight off Draken and Shigo, and I think destroy the device in the process. As Ron
Hmm.
finishes checking the office, where there is no brief history of cheese book, unfortunately.
Damn.
So as they go on to their next mission, it's some like professor who does like crazy plant things. It reminded me of shoot, what is his name
Oh,
in Darkwing Duck?
Bushroot.
Bushroot,
Yeah.
Darkwing Duck, like
Yeah.
that type of thing. Like Ron is currently fully being attacked by like a little shop of horrors, like Seymour plant
Venus
at the
flytrap type
moment.
thing. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And is screaming,
Incredible.
all of which Kim can hear because Kim has called Wade at this moment. From
Oh.
library lockup, she's like hiding in a corner somewhere, surrounded by a bunch of books. And she has called Wade to say, "Hey, I haven't heard anything from Ron. He usually, texts me at this point. And like, I'm really worried." And what's that in the background? Like, she
Is
hears
that Ron
screaming in the
screaming?
background. And Wade is like, "Ron? Who? Oh,
Never
no,
heard of
him?
him.
No, not nothing. Not a peep. Not nothing from Ron. Not at
Haven't heard from
all.
him, never heard of him.
Nah, not Scooby-Doo, not a clue." And Kim, yeah, is like, "What's that screaming though?" And Wade's like, "I'm playing video games. It's the boss fight.
Ah.
Gotta run. Ha ha ha. Bye." Wade's very bad at lying, it turns out.
Yeah, I can tell. Signs of a
Yes.
good man, that.
Exactly, a pure-hearted man that Wade is.
Yeah.
And this little phone call does cost Kim because Miss Hatchet catches her and takes Kim's phone away
Mm.
and gives her a new punishment. Now Kim has to relabel every single book in the library with little stamps that she has to lick the back of for every single one. So she's got to lick the back of the stamp and put it
Mm.
on every book in the library.
Get a sponge or one of those little things. Whatever.
Nope.
Okay. All right.
Not
It
even a
wouldn't
glass
be
of
as
water to help.
punitive. Yeah.
Exactly. Oh, Miss Hatchet believes in corporal punishment here.
I see. Her name is
She's
Hatchet.
Hatchet. That's going to be the next punishment if Kim's not careful,
Yeah.
probably.
Her and Mr. Barkin must be besties.
Oh, they trade
Mm-mm-mm. Knew
insider
it.
trading secrets here, about
Exactly.
corporal punishment.
How many push-ups did you make the students do today? Not
How many till
enough.
they
That's how
cried?
many.
Yeah, not
Yeah.
enough, never enough. So next, our gang minus Kim go to Monkey Fist's house. We haven't like
Mm,
fully covered him. We talked about
okay.
him at the beginning. Monkey
Yeah.
Fist and like the monkey kung fu, which is like this mystical, spiritual, like kung fu powers, does play a bigger role, I think, throughout this arc. But we're not going to fully get into it now. And like where this lies in like the Ron Monkey Fist arc situation. All we need to know right
Hmm.
now is that yes, Monkey Fist is like the man monkey guy villain who's obsessed with these mystical kung fu powers and also world domination, obviously.
Yeah. Always.
And
Always.
he's currently in his palace amassing a monkey ninja army, which to
Mm.
Wade rightfully is like, while we're here, shouldn't we try to stop
Yeah.
this?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Maybe
And
not. Don't put a pin in that. Maybe handle that right now.
now we're already
Although
here.
Ron. Mm.
But again, Wade and Rufus are here.
That's true. That's
They're
true.
here.
That's true.
Wade Bot's
Yeah.
here. But Ron is like, we gotta pay attention. We're here for the book, Wade. Get your head in the game.
Librarians are scarier than world dominating
Monkey
monkey
ninjas.
ninja armies. Yeah. Yeah.
Not
Mm.
wrong.
Yes. Yes.
Not wrong.
Yeah. I wasn't
So
asking. I was telling. I was saying.
I was stating
Yeah.
a fact.
Yeah.
So lo and behold, as they go through like this giant temple, there's kind of like a room of relics because that's to do with all like the mysticism. They have a bunch of relics. And on a stand with a single light shining down upon it, there is a purple textbook sitting on
Mm.
this stand.
Hmm.
But the observant viewer will notice that unlike the cheese book, this purple textbook has some buckles and some gold inlay on it. But
Um,
we know Ron's
um,
not an observant viewer.
mm-mm.
But Ron he doesn't just assume this is the book smartly. He does open it first to make sure. And when he opens it, a giant red vortex erupts from his pages, and from the vortex, a bunch of misty red demons screaming also erupt from it.
Um,
Baron shuts it smartly.
good. Okay.
Shuts
And
it.
they stay in the book. They haven't
They
been
get
like
clap stuff
released
right in
or
that
okay,
book.
good.
Nope. Get right back into the
Close.
book.
That was
Close
almost
call.
bad.
But naturally, this does draw the attention from all of the monkeys and Monkey Fist, who all run to attack Ron. Luckily,
Hmm.
again, Wadebot and Rufus are there, but in this chaos, Ron does get thrown across the room, book in hand, and he slams against a wall,
Ooh, ow.
which is pretty painful. And as he falls, he
Yes.
drops the book, and his backpack falls off. And from his backpack, another plug for our YouTube Saturday Morning Mysteries YouTube for Alexis's reaction, knowing
I was gonna.
exactly what I'm about to say.
Yeah, go ahead. Okay.
From
Mm,
his backpack, another purple textbook falls and lands right open next to the other
mm,
one.
mm.
It's the brief history of cheese
Yeah,
right
right where he left
there,
it all
right
along.
where he left it the entire time.
I was gonna say, so he never does homework. He never opens his book bag, and I was like, well, duh, it's Ron. No, of
Yeah,
course he
it's Ron.
doesn't.
We've seen his locker.
Yeah,
It's just rotten
and
bananas.
when you first, from the very beginning of him realizing that he was the last one with the book, I was thinking, okay, yeah, check your book bag. That's the last place it was. Like, why would you take the book out and leave it at a layer of some villain? But that's Ron. That's Ron
It
for
could have fallen
you.
out. He's fallen all left,
That's
right, and center,
true.
but
That's
you are
yeah,
correct
yeah.
that he should have first checked his backpack and
Hmm.
simply
Hmm.
did not.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
with this happening, Ron is like, phew. And I will say he does have like one moment of being kind of smart and obviously puts that book back in the bag, but then is
Yes.
also like, oh, right, Monkey Fist world domination situation. I should also probably take this like very dangerous book that they're clearly using.
While
So,
we're here, yeah.
yes, so he does put both books in his backpack, and he
Good.
escapes thanks to specifically Rufus, who
Of
has found
course.
like a full-on like human-sized like golden scepter, and Rufus is
Oh.
like spinning it around like one-handed like so fast that it looks like a helicopter, and he is
Hmm.
hitting every single monkey including Monkey Fist, who like sends him like soaring across the room, and he's just like with it, and it's great. Rufus,
Like I
like I
said,
said,
Rufus and Wade.
that's all they
It's
need.
a good duo. Exactly. That's
Yeah.
all you need.
Like
Kim
we
can
love
have the
Kim.
day
Kim's
off,
very important,
honestly.
but like
Yeah. But like
they
take the
can
day off
handle a
today,
lot.
Kim. Rufus and Wade
Exactly.
got this. And
Yeah,
Ron
we
is
got it.
there.
And Ron is always there.
He's there.
Period.
Yeah.
So Ron makes it back. They do escape. He's got book in hand. Ron does pull the hero move here. He's able to sneak back into the library, surprising Kim, who, when she sees him, he's like, shh, 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 shh. I got a plan. And so
Hmm.
Ron slips the book back onto the bookshelf and starts whistling, acting like he's walking through the shelves, and very loudly goes, "Oh, wow! Just what I was looking for. A book on the history of cheese, right here on the shelf."
Smooth.
Smooth, baby.
Smooth operator Ron. Hmm.
Yes, and this makes Miss Hatchet, of course, run over and grab the book from him. And Kim is basically like, "Ha, see? I knew it. I was right." And Miss Hatchet is speechless. She's in disbelief that she would have been wrong. She is so upset
Hmm.
that she doesn't even like react when Kim and Ron just skedaddle right out of there
They
before
just
Miss
leave.
Hatchet, yeah, gets her like faculties back about being Ron.
The one time that I appreciate gaslighting, this is the only instance where
Against
it
the
is
librarian.
okay. This book was here the whole
What
time.
are you talking about?
You know
Late?
what?
It was right
If I
here.
were Kim, I would be lawyering up ASAP. Like as I leave, I would like do an up down of the librarian. Like my
See you in
lawyers will
court.
be in touch with you. Yeah.
After semifinals, see you in court.
You in
After
court.
cheer semifinals, see you there. So, yes, as they leave, Kim thanks Ron profusely for finding it. And Ron is like, yeah, I'm sorry. Like, this was my fault. But like while you
Hmm.
were in the library, like I did have the craziest day. Like it was wild and like low
Random.
key kind of good that I mean, sorry to do punishment, like kind of good that like this punishment happened because me and the boys, if you will, we did
Boys' day out.
we had a
Yeah.
boys' day. This is a boys' day. Oh,
Day out.
Alexis, put a pin in that for a boys' day out, okay? Okay,
Okay,
part two.
good.
Okay, put a pin
Nice.
in that.
I cannot wait.
So yes, he tells Kim like, okay, actually, this did kind of work out because like Monkey Fist was plotting. So is everyone else. But, like Monkey Fist was furthest along in their plot to take over the world. They had like this weird, crazy book that like Rufus, the boys and I were able to like steal. I don't totally understand what it was, but like we got it so we can like destroy it now or whatever. So he gets it to show it to Kim. Obviously, she's the one who knows what to do with it. And it's the book about
Yeah.
cheese.
Wait. What?
He, as he hands it to Kim and she opens it and says, Ron, this is the library book. They turn around to look at the school as the roof explodes off the school and a giant red vortex appears and red demons fly out of the school. And that's the end of part one.
The reason why the librarian, Mrs. Hatchet, couldn't respond is because like she
Just
opened the book and a
possessed.
demon like possessed her.
Exactly.
And they didn't even stop to look. Her eyes are like in the back of her skull.
She's like her head fully back. The vortex is like coming out of her mouth.
She's like
She's hovering
levitating. Yeah.
in a red mist, like chanting an ancient foreign tongue.
Yeah. Yeah,
And they're just
that's
like, wow, we're
holy
best
shit.
friends. I'm glad you had a good
Wow.
boys' day
So glad
out.
to be out of detention or whatever. Oh God, that's hilarious. And wow, even crazier that that's like just a half of the episode, like 11 minutes. You're like, oh, surely they're going to combat this demon vortex in the next
Demon
episode.
librarian.
Like you said, like, no, they're not related at all.
No. Well, okay, so the next mini-sode that we're now getting to now, it
Yeah.
starts with like across town, a bunch of like sinkholes appearing everywhere. And so I
Okay,
was like,
related.
yes, like the
Maybe.
demons are
Sure.
now wreaking, and like it also like they're already in their like spy gear, like trying to save the
Okay.
townspeople
Yeah.
from it. So yeah, I was like, the demons
Like
are somehow causing the
continuation.
sinkholes. They're
Yeah.
on the mission. Completely unrelated. There's no demons. Miss Hatchet is now just a demon
She's
lord.
gone.
If you thought she's
Yes.
supreme leader of this school, you should see her in hell, where all of the
That's where she
students who
gets
had
her real
overdue
power.
library books, that's its own circle of hell, and she now rules it.
Imagine if that was like a recurring thing for the rest of the show, what there's like one or two seasons left.
Uh-huh.
Like randomly, if you look really quickly, you just see like Miss Hatchet like levitating over
Like
the
around the
city with
school.
like a red cloud behind her. Just like, oh yeah, she's just a permanent fixture now. Like as a we never figured that out.
The gym
We'll get
teacher
back
is
to
not
it
questioning
later.
her now. He's like, no, you can take any of my cheerleaders. Fine. Football players, who do you want? They actually have to sacrifice one, like whoever is like the weakest cheerleader or football player every year gets sacrificed to Miss Hatchet, the demon.
It's like the way that they keep her at bay. She's like, I won't
Exactly.
destroy this entire town if you just sacrifice me, which is
One
hilariously the
jock a
plot
year.
of Cabin in the Woods. Wow.
Yes.
It's so
That's
funny.
what this turns into
Yeah.
completely.
Like she won't unleash hell on Earth as long as you sacrifice like the
Just a
virgin
couple teens.
teenager or whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. It's a couple of virgin teens. Get them. We don't need them. Get them in there. Get them in that
Wow.
library. We're never going to come out.
Oops. Well,
But yeah, literally no follow up.
that's
I went and
hilarious.
looked at like the Miss Hatchet, like wiki fandom, and like the Kim Possible one is like really funny because it's like set up like a like spy dossier for every character.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like really fun, but like under status it says unknown. Like she's never in any other episodes past this one.
She may be in the nether realm. She may be hovering
Absolutely.
200 feet above school. She, she may still be in the
She's
library. We have
the
no clue.
queen of another realm. Again, one of the layers of hell. Dante was even scared about that one. He was like, do not have my inferno overdue
Yeah,
because you
stay
know
away
where
from
you're gonna
my
end up.
inferno, ma'am.
The last chapter. It's okay, it's the 10th layer of hell here.
Oh my God.
So yeah, no, we're
Oh
in a
man.
completely different episode now.
Okay, cool. Miss Hatchet.
Erase that last one.
TBD on
Never
her
happened. Not even TBD, it's
has
over.
whereabouts.
It's done.
Yeah, it's
She's
gone. It's
gone.
deleted. To be deleted, not to be
To be deleted.
determined.
Yeah,
It's just gone.
exactly. No one remembers Miss Hatchet.
Ooh,
So, yes, in this new mini-so, totally different here now.
cool.
There
Yes.
are sinkholes, like I said, all over the
Hmm.
city. I guess this has been happening. Ron and Kim are in spy gear. They're on it. And this one I'm going to tell you like a little more briefly about all of what happened here because it's still a
Hmm.
fun episode, but it has a little less in it. So, yes, they're in the middle of this mission already, and Wade is in the process of trying to chase like any sonic waves, like trying to find the epicenter of like what's causing all of these sinkholes. And he's able to trace it to like a jungle, it seems like, where some entomologist, aka like insect scientist, has
Ah,
his
yeah.
lab. So as Wade traces it to here, Team Possible actually gets a call from the professor who's working there, pleading for help because he has just been robbed. And the thing that has been stolen from his lab out in the jungle, he thinks it's behind those sinkholes. So Kim Possible or
Oh.
Team Possible is like, okay, great, we were heading there anyways because it's kind of the epicenter, bro.
Hmm.
So they head there and they go to his lab. And again, he's an entomologist. So this lab is full of bugs everywhere,
Mm.
in cages, out of cages. They're in a jungle. There's so many bugs in the jungle, anyways.
Yeah.
And Ron is like frozen, like even more pale than he already is. He is
Terrified.
terrified. He is shaking. He is like about to puke. He is terrified of these bugs. And Kim is
Mm.
like, Ron, suck it up. Look, like, they're tiny. Just flick them out of the way, Ron. Just flick them. Then they're gone. Then they're out of here. You're fine.
Yeah.
But Ron is like
Mm.
shaking from fear, and Kim is like low key being a jerk about it. She's just like,
Yeah. It's like,
Ron,
this
suck it
fear
up.
is valid. Like, yeah,
Yeah,
they're probably
I
not,
would
they're
also be freaked
gross at
out.
a minimum. Yeah. It's like, I'm more
Yeah,
team Ron here, not gonna lie. I
yeah,
might
I
not be
would say
screaming and
so.
stuff, but I would definitely not want to go in that lab or that
Yes, I would
whatever
definitely be
room.
like, I'm gonna,
I'm
cover
gonna like
all
wear a
of my
full
skin.
biohazard suit.
Yes,
Like, then
exactly.
I'll walk in there. Yeah.
Yes, precisely. So the professor explains that he had created, to Team Possible, he explains that he had created a
Mhm.
device that somehow uses like sonic pulses to encourage the building of exoskeletons in bugs. So like it helps
Huh.
the growth and like strength essentially of bugs. So this
Yeah.
was like one of the things he was researching, like what helps bugs grow, what can make them get stronger, that kind of stuff.
That
For
okay.
science.
Okay. Yeah,
Purely
for
for science.
science.
He's
I was
just a
saying that doesn't
little
sound that sounds like it just because we can doesn't mean we should sort of thing.
This sounds like you could step into Jurassic Park territory. He just needs
Exactly
to
my
find
thoughts.
one thing of
Literally.
amber with a mosquito in it. Okay, that's
Right.
all that
That's
this is separating
literally, I
this
feel like,
man from
yeah, I
Jurassic
feel like
Park.
we've seen movies telling us not to do these kind of things, but okay.
But okay, but he is a pretty innocent scientist in the sense of,
Hmm.
well, not innocent. Maybe he's a bad scientist because he did not think of all the implications of his work. Because he
Yeah.
explains, I don't know why someone would want to steal this like really obscure like research tool. And Ron and Kim, kind of similar to your last episode, are like, well, we usually have a little more to go on. So like they start asking questions like,
Yeah.
have you pissed anyone off lately? And
You
he
got any
did
enemies?
say, yeah, he does have a lab assistant that he recently had to fire.
Mm,
And the lab assistant was really unhappy about it and really
mm.
angry about it. So Kim and Ron are like, all right, so it's probably him then. Got it.
Good
So,
place to
like,
start.
yeah, good place to start at least. So they continue looking around the lab and they do find signs in the lab that someone was able to escape basically through like a sewer system that I guess was in this jungle of some sort. So I
Hmm.
guess the jungle is maybe close to a city center or something
Hey,
like
it's
that.
more connected than you know.
Oh, baby, it sure is. So
Yeah.
they go down into the sewer system, and Wade is indeed able to like triangulate and be like, the device that's like using these sonic pulses to like create exoskeletons and maybe these sinkholes is definitely down here. Like this is matching up.
Mm.
So they go down into the sewers. Ron is still like, okay, there's gonna be bugs in these sewers. There's gonna be bugs in these sewers. Like, oh God, yes, stealing myself. But being like,
Yeah.
okay, I can't see them. I can't see them. It's fine. It's fine. I can't actively see them. I'll be fine. Type of thing. Whatever you gotta do to make yourself feel better.
Yeah, I don't know.
Not working for you.
It would be I would feel the opposite of better. Yeah. So I'd be
Yeah,
like,
I
am I
know.
stepping on them?
Are
Is
they
there like
on
maybe they're
me?
right? Exactly. I would
Yes.
rather see them and know where they are than not see them and know that they're near me, but not being able to see it.
Put
Put a
a
pin in
short
that.
pin in that of being able
Okay,
to see
tiny
them and
little
feeling
pin.
better about that.
Okay.
So
Okay, maybe not.
they very quickly run into the lab assistant, who indeed has the device,
Mm.
that like sonic device, and of course, like all villains is like, yes, of course I'm using this. It's causing the sinkholes, but I was also using it I modified it to make the exoskeletons on some bugs grow at super speed, to make the
Ooh.
entire bug grow at super speed. And with this, I have made a giant army of cockroaches.
Oh,
Of all the bugs, of all the
of all
skittering little
things.
bugs.
Oh God, why are we doing this again, Grace? Why are
I
we
know,
doing
I
this
always land on the
again?
bug episodes,
You
the
do.
fly episodes. I don't know what
Mm-hmm.
happens to me
The
here. I don't like them. I don't
Yeah,
like that this is happening to me, but
yeah.
here we
They
are.
find you.
They find,
Mm-hmm.
oh, don't say that. Don't say that. Take that back.
They
You
find
take that
you.
back. They always find
Uh,
me. So, as he is explaining this, waves and waves of cockroaches stream into the sewers. But Ron starts laughing. And he's like, giant cockroaches? My man, my dude, my broski. These are maybe like medium dog size at most, like between hip and like thigh size. Like,
I mean, that's by definition a giant cockroach,
yeah,
but
but if you were
also,
thinking they were about to be the size of the sewer, like he's
yeah,
laughing
well,
with relief, I think. And what you
mm,
kind of just said of Ron's like, well, I can see them now. Like, yeah, they're disgusting, but like I know where they are now. So like
hmm
I'm not scared anymore. Like I got eyes
yeah,
on them everywhere, and like they're way smaller than I thought they'd be. So like
yeah,
this is actually not that threatening as you think it would be. So Ron is doing fine
hmm
now. And Ron
Okay,
is like
good.
chuckling
Whatever it
so
takes.
much. Yeah, whatever it takes. Ron's chuckling so much that this lab assistant is actually able, with all of these cockroaches, to get away. And
Oh,
yes, you might be wondering, he gets away. What about Kim? What about the person who stops the people from getting
yeah.
away? She's right there. But unlike when they were tiny, Kim, it turns out, is
Um,
terrified of large
um,
bugs, large,
yeah.
giant, full-size bugs,
Dog-sized bugs. Yeah.
dog-sized bugs. Our girl is like
Hmm.
catatonic, like just staring where all of the cockroaches were, muttering like the cockroach, giant
Same.
cockroaches. Yeah, I am
Yeah.
both Ron and Kim on both ends of this
In a way, yeah. At
spectrum.
the beginning, I was Ron. Now I'm Kim because
Yeah,
I don't like bugs when they're
exactly.
small, and I sure as hell would not like them when they're bigger than my dog, bigger than
I
a
want
dog, bigger
them for the
than up to my
ecosystem and
hip.
the yeah, I want them for the ecosystem
Absolutely.
and the environment, but that doesn't
I
mean our
want
paths need
them
to cross.
over there,
Yeah.
and this is my space. You
This is
guys
why I
have
built
your
the
space.
infrastructure.
Exactly.
Keep me away from you. And I'll be respectful when
Yes.
I'm in your space some of the time.
Exactly. Exactly. I'll
Please don't
step
enter mine.
over you. If you do get in
Yes.
my space, I'll put you back outside, but just
Yes.
stay out there. Stay
We'll
out
stay there.
there.
I'll stay here. You stay there. Great.
And please do not grow up to the size of up to the height of my hip
Of
ever.
anything. Just
Yeah,
any.
of
Don't
any
grow.
hip. Any
Stay
hip.
your natural
Yeah.
size, your God-given size.
Yes.
So, as they're making to leave to go obviously find where this lab assistant is going, from one of the tunnels, they hear a little more like scuttling and like a little clicking noise. And
hmm
one more cockroach emerges. But this one is the size of like a small dog. It's like a bit bigger than Rufus. And it scuttles up to them and
Ooh.
has kind of like big eyes looking around. It's clearly lost. It's like shaking a little bit. And it scuttles up to them. And
Oh.
when it sees them, it's so happy to see people that it starts to nuzzle Ron's leg. It starts to play with Rufus, like rolling around on its back. It's just a baby cockroach. And honestly, they made it cute as hell.
I don't know.
I
I'm
know.
half grossed out, half like, oh,
I think
adorable.
it's
You
supposed to be a
stay
little bit of
right
both.
there, you little cutie. You stay right
You
over
little cutie
there.
pie.
He's so adorable. You stay 10 feet away from me and be cute over there.
Be cute in your space. I'll be cute in mine. You be cute in yours.
Yes.
Right? Right.
Okay, cool.
No,
Good.
this little cockroach is really cute. It is basically just a puppy. It's making all these little clicking noises. Like, it's just so happy to see someone who's kind and warm. At one point, like, Ron gets down on his knees and is petting it. Kim is, like, again, sitting there
Like freaking the fuck
catatonic.
out.
At one point,
Yeah.
the cockroach, this little baby, like, licks Kim and she passes out. She's fully looks her right on the face like a dog, and they gotta drag her body out of here.
I imagine. Yeah.
And now
I'm with her.
we cut to an incredible montage of what now we're calling a
Oh
boys' day
no.
out. We
Oh
got Ron,
God.
Rufus, and Roachie, as he is named, becoming the best of
Mm,
friends that anybody could have.
great. While Kim is like in the ER, like IV liquids.
Just constantly unwell.
Yeah.
Truly, it's like they could be frolicking through a fucking field all holding hands. They're going to school together. Like, kids are screaming all around them as this is
Yeah,
happening.
panicking. What
They're
the hell?
digging through the trash together. Everyone's like, ah, stop. What is this doing? We're under attack. They're in Ron's basement playing video games all together.
Oh
Roachie
my
is the
God.
best at them. There are three
Of
of them all
course.
snuggling. They are all talking the same language. Ron and Rufus have learned all the little clicks of Roachie that they're speaking into each other in bug here.
Wow.
They are
Okay. All right.
the best of friends.
It's just having a boys' day. Boys' week
Ooh,
out.
you're my best
Best
friend. Ooh,
friend.
you're making me live now, Roachie. So yes, the best of friends
Oh
here. And
God.
yes, Kim is constantly is with them kind of, but she's just pale, trying not to puke or pass out again.
She's like, I'll sit here and watch you play video games, but I refuse to learn clicks. I'm
Yeah.
not learning the language.
This is one step too far. I will
Yeah.
not see this thing as an equal by learning its language. So luckily, Wade calls them with an update that's not luckily, that's incorrect. Wade calls them with an update,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
that now actual giant cockroaches are attacking the city. The lab
Oh God.
assistant took the feedback, learned, grew, modified the device again.
See,
Shouldn't have
good
gotten
for
fired. He was a
him.
good lab assistant.
Yeah, I know, right? Exactly. He takes criticism very well.
Yeah,
And
he's trying
yeah,
to be
he's
head
been
of
very
that lab one
productive.
day.
But see, and this is what I was thinking. I was like, don't goad an angry lab assistant who's in the middle of some crazy
A break.
experimentation. Like,
Yeah.
don't try to make it seem like he could do more. Like,
Yeah.
what? These things are tiny. It was like, God, he's gonna make one bigger than a car now. Just you wait. Even bigger.
Exactly what happened.
Okay.
Yes.
Great.
Like all of the villains in this show, all you have to do is a little goading and they say,
Exactly.
yeah, I can. Yeah,
Oh,
I can, bro.
challenge their intelligence, yeah,
Yeah,
or their
exactly.
ability to succeed.
Yes, and challenge will be accepted. So they leap into action and head into town where, yes, like truck-sized cockroaches are like crawling across
Ugh.
all the buildings, crushing cars, causing accidents, et cetera, et cetera. And as they all see this, Kim is like, I cannot do this. And she leaps behind Ron and is like shaking and is like, nope, 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 nope. I cannot do this one. And as a giant bug approaches, Ron, knowing he needs to protect his friend, stands tall in front of her, planning to fight off this bug. But as the bug gets closer and closer and closer, Ron does start freaking out. He can't do it. He's also way too scared.
Yeah.
And the giant cockroach lifts its leg to ironically squash Ron, like, we do to bugs. But as this happens, Roachie jumps in between them, between the giant cockroach and Ron, and starts yelling at the giant cockroach in their little clicky language. And the giant cockroach, like a puppy who just got caught eating some toilet paper, puts its head down has the guilty eyes at Roachie, and walks away.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Okay,
Wow.
Roachie.
Okay,
So
Roachie. Still don't.
this kind of,
Mm,
yeah, again, Roachie's still 10 feet
yeah.
away.
Yeah, exactly. Do your diplomacy over there.
And luckily, this like does kind of snap Kim out of it. And she sees where the lab assistant is, and she's like, okay, I can fight a human. Got it. I'll go do
Human.
that.
Yeah.
So she goes off to fight the lab assistant. She's able to steal the device and break it, but that doesn't get rid of the cockroaches. It just prevents him from growing more.
Hmm.
But not to worry, because while she was doing that, the tides of this wave of cockroaches have turned. But not because of
Uh-oh.
the device being broken, because the lab
Oh
assistant is
no.
no longer their leader. No. We see
Oh no.
Roachie emerge from all of the sea of cockroaches, hilariously with Rufus riding on his back, like gallantly riding on the back of Roachie.
Charging them into war, leading them
Yes.
into war, into battle.
Roachie,
Commander Rufus.
Roachie clicks to all of the giant cockroaches and they fall in line. Roachie is basically their king now. Rufus, his
Uh-oh.
general.
Yeah.
But yes, presumably they take care of that lab assistant more or less.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Oh.
Alexis, we cut to like all great love stories between human and animal. It must come to a heartbreaking end.
Hmm.
The town decides to give their cockroaches their own territory, their own kingdom, because they can't fight them. The city dump,
Yeah.
where they can feast for all eternity, and where we now find Kim Possible, or Team Possible, right there next to King Roachie. And it's time to say goodbye.
Hmm.
Ron and Roachie are staring into each other's beady eyes, remembering all the good times they've had, all the video games played,
Yeah.
all of the big Slurpee drinks drank and slurped all together. But
Yeah.
they are realizing, they're maturing, that they weren't actually all good times. Their lives,
Oh.
they were just too different. Roachie eats
Yeah.
trash. Ron tried to eat trash but thought it was gross.
He's like, I just can't get behind that.
He's like, I just can't get on your
I
level.
tried. Yeah.
Ron wanting to take Roachie everywhere. Everyone ever wanting to squash Roachie. It just, it can never work. Still,
Hmm.
they don't want to leave each other. Roachie is begging Ron to stay. They can make
Yeah.
it work. They're best friends. But Ron, he knows he has to be strong. Through the
Hmm.
tears that they all, including Kim now, are shedding,
Oh,
Ron
wow. Okay.
points into the sunset setting behind the city dump and basically says our favorite thing. Go on,
Get on out of
go
here.
on, get out
Go
of here,
on.
boy.
Yeah.
Go on, get out of here, you multi-legged
You're only
scamp.
making it harder on
I don't want
yourself.
you anymore. I don't love you
Yeah.
anymore. Go on, get. And there's a swell of cinematic music as Roachie scuttles off to one of the trash piles and takes one last look at his best friends, Ron and Rufus, standing there in the
No.
sunset, but knows this is the right thing. He must say goodbye before he steps into his throne, a throne that separates him from humans, that separates him from Ron. And he leaps into the pile of trash, his trashy throne, as he finally says goodbye. And that's the end.
And that's the end. And we never see him again. Poor Roachie.
Just like we never see Miss Hatchet, Queen Hatchet again, we never see King Roachie again that we know of.
And I bet there will never be a single crime committed in that junkyard ever again. Like they will.
No,
And also,
people
when
are
you say
staying
they
away.
take care of the lab assistant, I'm like, oof, what does that mean? They like just
They
cover him and like eat him? What happened? Like does his
absolutely
body just
they probably
decompose?
stomp on
You're like,
him and eat
yes.
him right up
You're like,
for
yes,
sure.
they did. That's precisely what happened.
Yes,
He
that's what
is
I
no
imagine
longer
happened.
living.
That is
Yeah.
King Roachie's first act is to show
Yes.
that
Get rid of this lab assistant. Ooh.
exactly.
Yikes. Great
that's
job.
The end of this wild two-parter, 2-for-1 surprise.
Interesting. I am
I think
intrigued if that's something that happens throughout season 3, or if it is just like random episodes here and there that are two-parters.
I think they were just
come
like,
back and resolve
we don't know
any
what
of
to make
those
Kim
issues
do
in
this
another
episode. We gotta have.
Yeah.
I thought of it more of like a filler episode. You know how it'll be like, we follow kind of like the B character, or like a flashback, or it's a musical, like those random fillers that are just like kind of there. I think that's what they did, and they were like, we can't give Ron his entire like. He can't be a hero for a whole episode, so we just have to have him kind of being a hero, but also not kind of fucking up for two small, like 11-minute stints type of thing.
Exactly. So,
yeah.
They're like, this is our way to kind of like shake things up. Keep it fresh. It
was worth it. I was stoked.
Yeah, I can't wait to watch them.
Yes, it was very fun. And yes, next week we'll continue our fun Kim Possible arc. But between now and then, Alexis, who should our listeners and viewers tell about this show?
I think this week you should tell someone who is studying to be a ninja, or like practices martial arts.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah. Tell him about Monkey Fist and see if he is close enough in his journey to mastering whatever that ancient art of martial arts is, whatever it is that maybe we'll talk about in this arc at some point. Anyways,
nice.
Who should they tell?
I think you should tell an entomologist. I feel like we've maybe done that before, but we didn't know the word entomologist. We just guessed it. So we're using the proper term now to tell an entomologist about this episode. And sorry that we were hating on bugs during it. This is our official apology to the entomology community.
We don't mind bugs. We just want them over there. And us over here.
On me.
Exactly. Which I feel like is what we said last time we talked about them too. But if nothing else, we are consistent and principled with our views on bugs.
And bugs being on us and our disinterest.
Yes. Exactly.
Yep. Cool. So we'll see y'all next week then. Until then, bye.
Bye. Thanks for tuning in to Saturday Morning Mysteries.
If you enjoyed this episode, please share, rate, review, leave us a like, and drop a comment. We post episodes every Saturday and bonus tune tangents whenever we feel like it. So please subscribe so you don't miss the shenanigans.
And if you want to follow us on YouTube, click the bell under the YouTube subscribe button to receive notifications when new videos are posted.
And if you want to subscribe to the podcast, we have no idea what you're listening to us on, so just hit the big subscribe button on whatever app you're using. We believe in you.
Give us a follow on Twitter and Instagram at SatmornMist, all the abreves, and let us know if you have any episode or show requests by emailing SaturdayMorningMysteries@gmail.com.
Thanks to Jenna Kendall for the logo design and to Ava Sakiki for the music used during this week's episode.
See y'all groovy kids next week on Saturday Morning Mysteries.